So I'm going to give a short talk, just so who's aware of the quantified self? So not too many people. So just a quick definition, basically, it's self-knowledge through numbers. So basically you track your behavior, and basically you kind of get insight into yourself that you never had before. So I'll give you some examples of the technology that is used to do that. So just a quick background. The Quantified Self is actually an organization. It was founded by Kevin Kelly and Gary Wolf from Wired magazine. And the first conference was this year, actually, this past May, which I had the chance to attend, which was pretty cool. So it was just a bunch of demos and explanations and sort of technical bits on what's going on in personal tracking technology. So here's just a little slide on some of the technologies that exist. So here's the Zeo that I actually brought today. So basically it tracks your sleep patterns. So your stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think the REM sleep, and basically gives you a score at the end of your night when you wake up, telling you how good of sleep you got based on how much REM sleep and deep sleep, how many times you kind of woke up throughout the night. And the coolest thing is you can actually program it where it doesn't wake you up when you're dreaming, so it only wakes you up when you're in stage 1 sleep, which is like kind of when you're awake, so you're not all groggy and pretty sort of awake when you wake up. So some people are kind of tired for the first couple hours in the morning. That's usually because when you wake up in dream sleep, it takes a lot more time to kind of get into the day. So really cool feature. Here's the My Basis watch that measures your heart rate and also galvanic skin response, which kind of is a proxy for stress. So you can measure how much stress you're going throughout the day. But the coolest thing is you don't have to wear a heart rate band just on your wrist, which is a pretty novel technology. Then you have the body media, which measures caloric output. So throughout your day, it's measuring how much calories you're burning. You have the Withings blood pressure monitor, which I also brought today, and all through your iPad and iPhone. You have the Fitbit, which I'm wearing over here. And basically tracks how many steps you take during the day. It's just an accelerometer. You plug it into a little base station when you get home, and it gives you a kind of clean visualization of how many steps you took. You can set personal goals, you get badges, you get rewards, blah, blah, blah. You can compare it with friends and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And you have the Withings scale. So you basically stand on the scale, it sends your results through Wi-Fi to your computer, so you don't have to write it down. And over time, if you take it every morning, you can see how your weight is sort of how you're managing your weight if you're trying to lose weight through diets and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Anyway, so here's just a couple examples of the visualization. So over here we have my Fitbit data showing, so this is historical, so over a couple of days how many steps I'm getting. So I wasn't getting much. It's about 2,000-3,000. I think the recommended is 10,000. So the idea about this is you get this sort of output and you can see how you're performing. So if you want to get more active, you can see, different times. No, I didn't show it here, but you can see at what time of the day you're most active. So maybe when you're walking to work, or maybe you can choose to walk to work so you can get more steps in a day. So it becomes kind of a game with yourself to see how you're doing in terms of your behavior. You have apps called Mood Scoop where you can measure how you're feeling when you wake up or any time of the day, and you can track your mood throughout, a month and see if you're doing certain behaviors. You can maybe hack that. And also the health graph, which was launched by Runkeeper, that basically allows you to compare your results with other people, and you can have competitions anyway. So that's kind of what's going on. But the main idea that I really want to drive home was the idea of feedback loops. So the idea is you get all this data, you're able to see data about yourself, and then in turn modify your behavior. So if you want to lose weight, or if you want to decrease your blood pressure, or if you just want to get more healthy and take more steps in a day, more active, you can just use these technologies to basically help you do that. There was a slide missing, but it's okay. Another idea that I want to kind of introduce here, and this was a big theme at the Quantified Self conference, was the idea of citizen science and organizing your own experiments. So the idea is you'd have a hypothesis where you'd say, okay, I'm going to eat peanut butter, and I think, so I've had a peanut butter sandwich and I get really great sleep. So your hypothesis is that every time you have peanut butter, you're getting good sleep. But now with the Zeo, you can actually measure the quality of sleep you're getting. So some people are actually doing this where for 30 days they don't have peanut butter, they measure their sleep, and then for the next 30 they have peanut butter right before they go to bed, and they measure their sleep pattern with the Zeo, and kind of say, okay, peanut butter is actually helping me get better sleep, so now I'm always going to have peanut butter before I go to bed. So you can either do this on yourself, or you can actually do this with other people. There's a company called Genomics Era that basically allows you to kind of meet these people and set up these experiments. You gather data, and then you kind of evaluate your hypothesis. So it's kind of cool to see if you want to hack yourself, body hacking, this whole new trend of improving yourself. And another layer that's slowly emerging is also the Genomics Era Layer. So there's a company like 23andMe and a couple other companies where you just spit in a vial, send it over to them, and they can sequence part of your genome. And they basically tell you that you have increased risk for certain diseases, decreased risk for other diseases. And then combining this with some of the tracking data, you can try to prevent disease. So a whole new sort of field of preventive medicine that is enabled by these technologies and these companies, which I find pretty exciting. That was supposed to be before. So I'll just give a quick demo. Do you mind if I put this in? Really simple. This is the blood pressure monitor from Meti. You don't need any external wires. So if you have a blood pressure problem and trying to manage it, and maybe you're eating certain foods, a good thing to manage that is get a blood pressure monitor. And basically, over time, simply put that on. Plug that in so anybody can see this. Hopefully it works. It launches the app for you. Press start. It's gonna. You can't hear that. It's pretty quiet, but it's just putting a bunch of air into this. Go up. There you go. There you go. It should have made a sound basically. Well, something just happened. Anyway, so it is you get an output of your blood pressure, your heart rate, and then over time you can track that. Do you want to demo the overtime? Anyway, the idea is simple. You can just track. These technologies are enabling tracking in a much easier fashion, less friction. And lastly, I have a Zio for anybody that wants to try it tonight. So I'm lending this off, so we have volunteers. The first hand that went up was over here, so I'll go ahead with that, and you can try it tonight. Maybe you can drink some tequila and see what happens to your sleep patterns. So that could be cool. Anyway, so that's it. I just wanted to introduce the idea and get you guys kind of aware of it. So thanks.